Let me quickly walk you through something we were talking about the other day in class about this idea of the multiplicative inverse. Um, if you have a problem like this, negative 5/8 times x is equal to 1/4. The idea of multiplicative inverse, okay? Multiplicative inverse, okay? This thing here means what number will I multiply, okay? What number do I multiply by in order to get a product of 1? Right? What I'm looking for is how do I get to 1? So negative 5/8, okay? How do I get to 1 here? To get to 1, I'm going to have to get the same number on the top and the bottom. So what I'm going to do here is, let's rewrite it, negative 5/8 times x, okay, is equal to 1/4. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to multiply both sides by the reciprocal, okay, or this idea of multiplicative inverse. So I'm going to flip it upside. I'm going to flip this upside down. So instead of negative 5/8, we'll do. I'm going to keep the negative in the top. Negative 8/5. Now, if I do that to one side, I have to make sure that I do that to the other side, okay, to stay equal. Now, let's go ahead and try this. When we multiply fractions across, I get negative 8 times negative 5. That's going to be a positive 40. 5 times 8 is 40. X is equal to, okay, 140 divided by 40, that cancels. I'm going to end up with 1. Okay, and that's the whole idea. Here, 1 times negative 8 is going to be negative 8. 4 times 5 is 20. Simplify that. Divide both sides by the top and the bottom by 4, and I'm left with negative 2/5. Okay, that's what happens when you use the multiplicative inverse. Okay, now let me show you one other aspect of this. Okay. Okay, if we were just, looking at our order of operations here, I have x, right? And what I'm doing is I'm multiplying it by a negative 5/8. So I have negative 5/8, okay, that I'm multiplying here is equal to 1/4. Now what I could do is I could take this and divide it by negative 5/8, okay? Now this looks kind of weird, right? And divide by negative 5/8. This is what's called a complex fraction. Okay, it's complex because you have a fraction in the numerator and a fraction in the denominator. Here I have a fraction in the numerator and the fraction in the denominator. Okay, well let's review quickly. Anytime you have a number like negative 5/8, okay, what this is saying, this part is saying here, it's negative 5/8 divided by negative 5/8. Okay, and if what you remember doing is whenever you divide by a fraction, it's the same as multiplying by the reciprocal. Okay, you multiply by the reciprocal, and look, notice you're going to end up with here. You're going to end up with, in this case, 5 times 8, 8 times 5. You're going to end up with 40/40, which is equal to 1. Which is exactly what we want to happen, okay? Because we're trying to solve. We're trying to undo this, so you divide by it, okay? But what we can start doing is use this idea of the multiplicative inverse, all right? Let me show you one other way how you can do this problem. You have negative 5/8 times x, okay? Another way of looking at this is the first thing you're going to do here is if you knew what x was, you'd multiply by 5, and then you'd divide, you'd multiply by negative 5, and then you would divide by divide by 8. So multiply by negative 5, divide by 8. So then let's reverse those operations. Instead of dividing by 8, we'll multiply by 8. Okay? Multiply by 8. So then I'm going to get negative 40/8. Well, I really would like you to start getting in the habit of this and this will cancel each other out, right? Because I'm going to do 8 divided by 8 is 1 times negative 5. Multiply and then divide is the same as dividing and then multiplying. You'll end up with the same result. So this is going to be negative 5x is equal to, okay, and then I have 8 divided by 4 is 2 times 1, so is equal to 2, okay? Now, this says x, you're multiplying by negative 5, so I'm going to divide by negative 5, divide by negative 5, and I'm left with x is equal to negative 2/5. Same answer, okay? So sort of the same way. Okay, and if you notice, what we did here is we multiplied by 5, and then we divided by negative 5. That was the same thing when we did our multiplicative inverse here. Whoops. When we did when we did the multiplicative inverse, we took this, we took negative 5/8 x, and we multiplied it by negative 8 over 5. Well, that's like multiplying by negative 8, dividing by 5, which was the same thing he did here, right? Multiply by 8, divide by negative 5. Okay, so just another example, just a quick little intro to multiplicative inverses. And we'll talk more about this in class on Monday.